All right, here we go. OverDrive off and running. TSN 1050 on the TSN app, your home smart speaker, up on TSN Plus all afternoon. Bryan Hayes, the O-Dog, Jeff O'Neill, Jamie Noodles McLennan. Disappointingly not up on TV today because we're rocking our Greg Norman hoodies.
Yeah.
About
we're not on TV today?
Well, we're up on TSN Plus. We'll be everywhere else. The Masters is on. There's a lot going on. There's baseball
Dude, I
going
saw
on.
something at the Masters today. A two-time winner, Ricky Dunlap, he blew a 90 at Augusta, man. Dude, a 90 for a touring pro?
That's a lot of golf shots.
That's just you pick your ball up, don't you? At some point, can you just tap out? Is there an aversion of tap out on the Masters?
Not really. What he'll do is
Dude, if Ernie was the one guy that could have tapped out in any golf tournament ever after 7-putting the first green, he could have faked a leg. He could have done anything, but he stuck with it, man.
But that's the play. What will happen is Dunlap will cite a hammy issue or his back is blown up. He won't tee off tomorrow. Like he'll withdraw tonight and claim I've actually been dealing with this elbow shoulder thing.
Yeah.
You know, that's the play because you got to get through it, and especially at Augusta, like out of respect to the course and the history.
You don't want to piss those guys off, man.
No, like because he's hanging on by a thread, right?
Dude,
no guarantee he'll be there next year.
90's a lot.
That's a lot of
what
golf
if he
shots,
comes?
man.
What if he comes back tomorrow and blows a 90 again?
Well,
it's impossible, Noodles. Like I'm talking.
Stuff.
Here's to put it.
What I mean.
80's a lot. Like if a tour pro blows an 80 at a golf course, it's like that's the worst possible day of my life. This was 10 more. And I hope Doogie or Joe from the Bridge has some viz of Ronald McDonald, a.k.a. Sergio Garcia, out there today. Because he has a get-up on that is so obscene, man.
What is he thinking?
Dude.
With that? Like,
if I was his caddy, I'd say, Bud, as soon as I saw him on the range, I'd say, let's go have a talk in the bathroom. Get the gear off and get some different gear on.
I agree.
I don't care how much you like Spain. You can't wear the yellow pants. You look like Ronald McDonald, and I'm not walking around the course with you like that.
It's a wild scene out there today because, you know, the ceremonial tee-off, it was Gary Player out there doing his scissor kicks, and then afterwards.
Look at that guy.
There's Sergio. Yellow pants, a red long-sleeve shirt with a red hat.
And a red golf shirt over the long-sleeve shirt. It's just
a wild look, man. And I guess if you're a past champion, though, you can push the limits a little bit. And Sergio was doing that. Bernie Longer out there in his red on red on red as well, paying homage to himself because when he won in 85, he was wearing a full red, I think, Adidas get-up. So Bernie Longer's out there doing the same thing. But, yeah, it is wild to see Dunlop at 18 over par.
Dude, man.
Like, that's crazy, man. There are amateurs out there shooting 78, 79 that would be furious.
They make their own rules. Freddie Ridley could go up and shake his hand and say, grab your clubs and put them in the car and get lost.
Yeah, you're right. We can't have that on our leader. We can't have that up on the big board.
I don't know if I've ever seen it, man. I don't know. Like I thought that amateur was going to blow a 95 out there when the way he started.
The kid playing with Scheffler and Thomas, me too.
But he kind of got it together. But for this guy to shoot, I don't know if I've ever seen a touring pro shoot a 90, man.
Is that the worst? Like, we have to dig up what the record is. What is the worst number that has been put in at the Masters? It's got to be.
Hayes, if you shot 90, Hayes, you'd be like, God damn, man! Like I shot 90.
Like right now, if from those tees, I would be happy with 90. But you tee me off from 6,300 yards. If I shot 90, I'd be furious. Furious at Augusta. And I would guess the owner of the highest score is some guy who's, 67 his last, Ray Floyd his last round. Hey, thanks everybody. Like, see you later. And he shot a 92 and he left. Dunlap is 21 years old, I believe. And again, is a stud player. Who
won twice on tour. He won as an amateur and then after he turned pro.
Yeah, shooting 90's wild, man. So Bob Weeks will join us later on this hour because at the top of the leaderboard there's a Canadian flag. Corey Connor shot the lights out today. He's been great. Scheffler's in at 400. That is terrifying for everyone else. He had the most routine 68 you'll ever see in your life. Every fairway, middle of the green, 2-putt, see you later. McIlroy's out there playing really well. I think he's 2 under. So Bob Weeks coming up later. this hour, we'll be tracking the leaderboard at the Masters and tracking the Jays and what's going on with them. Jeff Hoffman last night, your boy, Mr. Physical, goes 2 innings in the 9th and the 10th to push it to 11, and the Jays get the win. Mr. Physical. Thank you, Baltimore. Thank you, Atlanta. I don't know what your doctors saw, but what I saw last night was an absolute machine. So we'll track that. We'll get into it. And Leaf fans are breathing easier today as well for a number of different reasons. But 2 points is 2 points. I thought that was as entertaining and as fun of a hockey game as you will ever see in your life last night.
I think if the coaches took anything away from that game, and if you can kind of like dig deeper into the Leafs, their past, their future, it's almost like the one word. Like, these were some incredible plays by these guys. That top line had a night, man. You talk about, like, if anybody, like all these nerds talk about backtrack the puck, those are like expert level backtracks and doing something special with it after. But it's the one word that I came up with I was like, it's consistency. They obviously know how to play. They obviously know how to play well. They know how to dominate. But it's like, as soon as they got that 2-0 lead, it was like, let's see what those guys got. And that's where it must drive everybody nuts, where it's like, that's where you want to crush them, 4-0. Obviously, they're a great team. They're going to respond. Their coach said they were embarrassing and all that. But it's like, if they could ever bring some consistency, because it was wildly inconsistent where they were giving up chances, you're like, they're going to lose this hockey game.
Well, I will say, I think they almost did, because they did have chances. Like they missed the net. Like, they were in, after they were up 2-0, the Leafs had 3 or 4 like odd man rushes, that's where you, like, honestly, that's where I think Vasilevsky made a couple good saves, and then, a couple missed nets and a back door that was missed, but that's where it could have been 4-0 and the lights are out. Because I didn't think, Tampa had a poor start, the Leafs had a great start, but they did generate at 2-0. They were still generating some chances. It didn't go for them. Like,
you're
it didn't,
right. Tavares breakaway, Ekman Larson breakaway.
Right.
Simone Benoit walked right down Broadway at one point and took a Ray Bork slap shot. I'm like, what is happening in this game?
Yeah.
But then on the flip side, the Lightning hit 3 posts flush in like 30 seconds.
They also had a chance where Kucherov had like a 2-on-1, and he got a pass under the triangle, and he rips that home 8 times out of 10.
Yeah.
There was chances. There was chances at both ends, and I sent to Jonas a note, because the one thing, like, Stolarz is such a big guy, but I'm not lying, and I might just be speaking out of turn. I feel like he gets 2 or 3 posts a game, where maybe it's just you're covering so much net, that's what's there. It's just like those were solid, like, on the post, and, keep going here. Like,
flush.
Flush. Like, whether, you hope that it doesn't hit the post and go in type of thing, but it was, like, I don't, in the last, like, 3 or 4 starts that he's had, like, some crossbars, some posts, but he's been fantastic.
Yeah, he's been basically perfect, man. You look at his stats, his last 6 starts, he doesn't lose. His numbers are off the charts. And that's even last night, ends up giving up 3. But I thought he played really well. I thought he and Vasilevsky played well. There were big hits. There were fights. There was lead changes. It was a crazy game. And, Matthew Knies, I can't give this guy enough credit, because for a young player the night before to use the word soft, and we talked about it a lot yesterday.
Right.
You use the word soft in professional sports, man. That is a radioactive word. That is a word that rings out. I don't care if you're in a market like Toronto or a market like Salt Lake City. Like,
dude, in the sport of hockey, it's the worst word you can use.
It is the most insulting word you can use to describe the way your team played.
And basically, too, guys, in this market, after some of the things that have happened in past years, and that word has kind of been thrown around radioactively, like
big time. It's,
like if you heard that word in Florida, that's kind of like, okay, we didn't play well. Like, we know our team, we have this reputation of being a hard. But that word has been thrown around more times than not in this market, directed at that team.
Here. It cuts deep. A little bit deeper.
Yeah, the context of it, yeah.
For him to be the one to lead the charge last night and score in the fashion that he did, he takes even the penalty and the chirping in the penalty box the way that he did. He threw a couple of big hits last night, too, like leaning on, you're vulnerable, I'm going to lay you out type hits. And I think it's integral that this is finally developed, because you look at it, I thought Matthews and Marner had a great night. Like the way they set up the goals. The Matthews playing overtime is so cheeky and so confident.
Dude, the extra move that he put on Braden Point's stick, I was like, you son of a gun, you didn't need to do that. But you added it on you added it on top with a spice, and I was like, that is dangerous stuff. Because I saw that and I'm like, how did he get to the why did he go to the left there? And it was to avoid Braden Point's stick. That was some greasy stuff, but what a play, man.
That was 60 seconds of great, it was both ends.
Back and forth, back and forth.
What's going on here?
And even the Knies pass, Knies between the legs.
I wanted Brian's reaction on that, because you guys know how I feel about that. Even Chief afterwards, great play, don't do it again type of thing.
I think it surprised Knies himself that he did it.
Everybody.
Yeah. But Knies was like, what the hell was I doing there? I never do that. And he did it.
Yeah, that was a play. That's a guy who's feeling it. And then, exactly, he did something, and he's like, I can't believe that just happened. I don't know what I was thinking.
And executed it, too. He didn't launch it into the fifth row. He actually, it landed perfectly. Yeah, that's what I mean. He executed the pass perfectly. I remember thinking, God, could you imagine if that's picked off and they go the other way, and you're like, that's, people, he'd had such a great night. Don't end it on a negative note that way. But it didn't. It landed perfect.
Especially because it was Riley, and Riley, I wouldn't say got jammed up earlier in the overtime, but a little bit. I think it was Tavares that hit him, and Point stripped him, and Point went the other way, and Stolarz, robs him and keeps the overtime alive. And then Morgan Riley again, and on a clear-cut 2-on-1, and it goes through his legs and hits him in the tape. Anyway, the Matthews play was so filthy, and to the credit of Knies, he stops on the post and he waits for it and he scores it. He didn't just tap that in, man. He blasted that into the net. But we've been talking about the best players and the way that they play and the way that they're wired forever. I've been saying this for years. You guys have echoed it. They're all wired the exact same way. They're never going to freak out. They're never going to snap. They're never going to look like anything's different. They're never ever going to come out and play differently. They are who they are, and they are what they are. And no one has been capable of playing at their level that is wired differently. So it just wasn't going to work. Max Domi can't do it because he can't play with those guys. He can't be at the same level. Doesn't matter if you have Ryan Reeves on the fourth line playing 5 minutes. What Knies represents is a guy who can keep up, can play, can pull his weight, can score, can put up points, but also will throw hits, snap on people, look for fights. I think his ingredient is so important. It's so important. And I think the way he played last night, I'm bracing for this, and it probably shouldn't happen in reality, because he's still a young kid and the other guys are who they are, and they're veterans and they're the best players and the highest paid players. He's going to drag them into the fight in the playoffs. That's going to be the role he's going to be. It's not going to be Matthews or Marner dragging him in.
Yeah, because when you're a young guy, Hayes,
when you think about it, but I think that's going to happen.
When you're a young guy and you're just coming up and you're seeing scrums and you're just like, hey, hey, you guys get out of there. Now he could just go and start teeing off on a guy like Chernak or just lead the way, man. And just say, guys, there's a new way to do things around here. I would love it if he kind of stepped up into a role like that. Be a guy. And I talked the other day on the panel. It was you talked to those boys in Detroit about those teams that were winning cups. They go quickly to Lidstrom, and they go to Shanahan and Yzerman and Fedorov and the Russians. But that Thomas Holmstrom, he was a main character for those guys because he was a pain in the ass. I mean, Jamie, you were in the net. That guy was always in front of the net, always playing physical, always competing, and he never stopped. And when you got a guy like that, it's just great for the team because they just don't stop.
The way I look at it, too, is this team has needed somebody who can play in your top six that has a different look. Listen, he's going to end up with 30 goals and 60 points or something like that, right? But, he's at 29, right, and 55 points. So let's just call it 30, 60, something like that. I don't know where he's going to end on the projection in his career. I don't know if he's going to be a 40, 80 type of guy. Keep in mind, he's playing with the top of the top. Like he's playing with Mitch Marner, gives him some good looks. So does Austin, but he creates. So it goes hand in hand. But this team had it somewhat in Zach Hyman. Zach Hyman fit there, and he ended up choosing to leave. And then they chased it. They chased it with Nick Foligno. They chased it with Tyler Bertuzzi. They chased it for somebody who could play on that left side, who wasn't asked, like, it wasn't somebody who was a third liner that needed to elevate and we were asking to do too much. You need, and that's kind of what I'm watching him, and I'm saying, okay, they don't have to trade for that guy at the deadline. They didn't have to. They have him now. They've got somebody who's more unique, who plays in the top 6. I don't think he's a fighter. I think he's a guy who can play heavy. I don't think he's a guy that needs to drop the gloves.
Nor should he be.
Well, but he's got a couple concussions already.
I think that White Cloud fight was big, personally. I think that was a big message to the league. Big.
It helps, but I'm saying, like, he's also had concussion issues. Like, I don't think he needs to be squaring off just for the sake of squaring off.
Yeah.
What he needs to do is play tough, and that's what he's done. Play physical, play strong, play big. And that's different from what we've seen in this group in years past. You went chasing it. Foligno's back was sore. He's older. Bertuzzi just, I don't know, he never really fit, kind of, and he wasn't super fast. He wasn't overly big and strong. So, having Knies in the top 6 is a lot different now because it's a different dynamic. And
he can keep up, right? Like, that's
exactly.
the big thing. He's a smart player that knows, his limits and knows where to stay in, how to stay within them. And I do think, he can provide a little bit of insulation for the other guys, like what he represents and how his size and where he goes and he's not uncomfortable anywhere on the ice. Like, that's probably the best way to put it. Like, if you want to battle in front of the net, go ahead. I'll try to push me out of the way. I'm going to try to knock you out in the corner if I can. If there's a scrum and you're messing around, I can come in. Doesn't mean the gloves are flying off. But I think that element and that type of player is pretty significant, especially considering the way the other two guys play and the way they're wired. Like the way that they're going to go about their business. And that top line played really well. And they went 4-0 against Tampa this year. And now they got a 3-point buffer. There's 4 games to go. It's right there for you. You got the Habs on Saturday night, at Carolina on Sunday, and then Buffalo, Detroit. They probably need 4 more points to really feel like you're secure, like Tampa's. Yeah, you get two more wins and you're in. And I think Cooper's response after the game really speaks to what we were discussing yesterday, that he knows what's on the line. You're playing Florida. Like, that's if you don't win the division, you're playing Florida, and nobody wants it.
I didn't see his comments, Hayes. Was he kind of like I don't know which comment we have. We'll play it here. At one point he talks about how it was an embarrassing start for the team. He was really harsh on
turnovers. Yeah, 2 terrible turnovers. Like, those are you're floating muffins through the middle. They get picked off. Like,
and the Leafs had played the night before, and it was a back-to-back in a big game. And I think, again, Cooper, I'm sure they all were aware. They're a veteran team. They know what's on the line. Tampa wins last night, and especially in reg, they're in the driver's seat, right? They're going to win the division. You got home ice, and you're probably playing Ottawa or Montreal as opposed to Florida. But here's what Cooper had to say about the season, about the matchup, and the game last night.
If they win the division, they deserve to beat us because they swept us this year. So, that's in the end, that's what it's going to come down to. And even if we, did win tonight, wasn't going to sit here and say we were going to win division. I mean, we might have been in the driver's seat, but for us to battle back, get a point, and just give us one more, and because we still have an opportunity to win, and we have an opportunity to salvage some home ice here too. So, like, all the points are extremely important for us.
Yeah, and again, at one point he was discussing or describing the first few minutes and called it embarrassing the way that Tampa started. But he's right; the Leafs go 4-0, and that's that's the difference right there. Like, you split the series, and Tampa's in the driver's seat right now.
Yeah, and it's whatever or however it shakes out. It's just a great regular season by the Maple Leafs. Like, You look at different you look at the New York Rangers, man. They absolutely just.
How about your boy Quickie last night? It wasn't only him, but he gave up a 6-pack last night.
What
and I'm like,
$11 million goalie, and you put Jonathan Quick in net last night. Are you jobbing me? Like,
how do you give up 8 to Philly though with your life? They were dead before the game started.
Yeah. I mean, they played tonight, so I was looking at it, but you got to play him like you had, like you said.
Noodles.
Yesterday.
Any team that's like fighting with one breath left,
you play him every night because if you fail, you're on. You're on holiday in a week and a half, so it doesn't matter. You can't go, hey, we're resting him, sports science says, because he's done in 10 days.
Oh, it's a good thing that Shesterkin's all rested for tonight. You're done.
Like it just, and listen, you guys know, I love Jonathan Quick. I was side-eyeing that game, and I'm like, what is going on?
What was going on
there was some crazy
last night.
That Minnesota game was bananas.
Well, and a lot of people were saying like that's probably Flowers' last game. He gives up a 7 spot,
but he wins. That's the crazy part. Like they had his kids. I don't know if you saw in warm these kids stretching out beside him. They were on the ice, and it was during the anthem. It was amazing, and then he gives up a touchdown. And you're like, oh, my God, like I'm watching that game. And even the tying goal, like Will Smith scores, like he just stands there and goes, I think that went in. Like it was bananas. And then, of course, Kaprizov finishes it off in overtime. But they got it done, and good for Flower. He's such an awesome guy. But, God, there were some crazy scores last night.
They needed those 2 points, man.
They did. Many did. Yeah, they
might have
put Calgary to bed last night, unfortunately.
They might have, unfortunately. Although St. Louis lost in Reagan, they've, I think Calgary's got 2 games in hand on them.
That was nuts, too, St. Louis. Like, Edmonton scored with 17 seconds left to win the game.
Yeah.
Well, McDavid, I was watching that game. McDavid's timing was off. He was skating so fast. He was ahead of the play, in the first period, like Noodles, 3 or 4 times.
You get that guy off a couple weeks away from the rink. That guy skates so fast, it's insane. I
was laughing to myself because he even said afterwards, he's like, you got to get your game speed, your timing back. There was times where the defensemen, everybody puck possession, you cycle back, and then you look for somebody with speed. He was like looking over his shoulder, going, "Give me the puck, and I can't remember who it was, like double clutched him and looked, and he was at the far blue line already. He was gone. Like he was moving so fast last night.
That is a terrifying proposition for the Kings if that guy has been load managing for a few weeks, and and just
doing
waiting
like
for the
secret workouts in Europe or Colorado.
It sounds
Ivan Drago stuff.
I messaged Rashog yesterday, and I just said, "What's going on there?" Because in the morning, you've got Knobloch going, he's another week away,
maybe.
And then all of a sudden he's playing, and I'm like, what is going on there? And it sounds like, because even people that were at the practice, they were like, this guy's been flying around for a week already. Apparently they it was, you're going to be 100% and more. Like, I think he was ready last week, and they were like, you're not playing.
I think that's smart. And then, they had the injuries, and Nugent Hopkins was out, and it sounds like he wasn't going to play, and he's like, screw it, I'm playing because we need to play. We need a lineup here. And probably was looking at it saying, we're leaking a bit of oil here. Enough is enough. Like, let's get a win. Let's bank these 2 points. We're in. We know who we're playing. We're playing LA. And I'd be curious to see what they do with him and Draisaitl the rest of the way. But, it was crazy. Like, the Corey Perry-Binnington thing was wild. And, Perry knew exactly what he was doing.
He knew
jabs
that,
him and then does the oops.
A little skate.
He knew exactly what he was doing. It was all Perry.
Oh, of course.
That's a greasy play, and then stabs him on the way around.
But good. Like, Binnington got up and gave him a swipe and then jumped into the pile.
I like that. I don't mind that.
Yeah, because Binnington was like, if no one else is going to do this, I'm just doing it myself. Screw the guy.
I don't think and that team plays tough. Like, I'll give St. Louis credit. They play chippy, and they were going after Edmonton. But I don't think his teammates saw it. Like, I don't think they saw Perry kind of go in and give him the forearm, or not the forearm, the skate kind of in the head or the shoulder or whatever. Like, it was Corey Perry. It was Corey Perry hockey, and Binnington got up swinging. Like, good for him.
Absolutely, because it was greasy, man. It was a crafty.
Corey Perry hockey. Let's get one thing perfectly clear, guys. Like, competitive guy. He's won. He's an MVP. There is a massive part of him that when he puts his helmet on, he's just a giant a-hole. Like, it's not some like burning desire. Like, he's half NHL player / really competitive guy / a-hole.
Yeah.
There's no other way around it.
Right,
Yeah.
and that's a compliment, really, for him to be still playing and do what he's doing. And he's been doing it his whole life.
To care that much at his age to say, I still got to be like that, that's impressive.
It really is.
That's the thing, too. You're right. Like, he's done it his whole career. This isn't something he's developed in the last year and a half.
No.
Like, he's done that for 20 years. Like,
he was doing it in junior, man. There's a great, because he was on the London team in 2005. That's one of the great junior teams ever. Won the Memorial Cup.
Yeah.
I believe they won the Memorial Cup. And anyway, there were a bunch of future NHLers on that team. There's a fight, like center ice, him and Mike Richards in Kitchener, I think it is. And Perry, I think, is the captain of the Knights. Richards, the captain of the Rangers. And I want to say it was in, like, the Western Final or something. And it's a great tilt.
It's toe-to-toe, eh?
Yeah, and that's in junior. And it was like a got out of the scrum, let's meet at center ice kind of thing. Like, it's just an awesome tilt between two Warriors and two great players. But yeah, it was a big win last night for the Leafs, and they had to have it, and they blocked more shots, I believe, than any game in franchise history during the regular season.
What was the attempts like? Did Tampa have like 92 attempts?
They had definitely more. It was like 20 plus attempts. Like Kucherov on his own had, I think, 17 attempts or something last night.
Yeah,
he was shooting from everywhere. He missed the net 15 times.
I know he had some missed nets.
He never hit the net.
No, I swear I thought I saw they had like 92 shot attempts or something. I'll have to look it up.
I don't remember the last tally, but in terms of, block shots, I saw the stat earlier. Where is it here? Anyway, I'll go find it. But it was something crazy, like the amount of block shots the Leafs had last night.
Well, the block shots, they had 33 block shots last night.
Right.
I'm looking at the stat sheet right now. Somebody had 7. Morgan Riley had 7. Chris Tanev had 5. Benoit had 4. But, man, there was 33 block shots. And, yeah, the attempts were 28 shots, 36 attempt, and 26 missed shots. So, man, oh, man, you add those up. That is 90-something. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's a lot. Now, the Leafs would have had close to 70 attempts, I would think, themselves. I mean, they definitely put a lot on Tampa, but anyway, they end up getting a win, and again, they got a 3-point buffer with 4 to go, just like Tampa does. So more on that as we move forward. We're going to head down to Augusta later this hour, catch up with Bob Weeks. Corey Connors, absolutely on fire. He shot a 5-under today. He's into the clubhouse. And Justin Rose, your boy, he does it every 2 to 3 years. That guy goes out there and shoots like a 65 on Thursday.
Yeah, he was up leading near the British Open last year too.
Yeah,
like he just sniffs around.
He's 6 under. He's through 14. He was 6 under through 10. So yeah, he's red hot. He's got a 2-shot lead. It's Thursday. Connors was a 68. He shot 4 under. Scheffler's in at 4 under. McIlroy through 10 is at 3 under. That's the start he needs. Get home at 3 or 4 under, and you are in this golf tournament because...
Dude, I think he's going to pulverize the last 5 or 6 holes, and he's going to make his statement and puff his chest out and just start looking at people and giving them
I hope you're right.
Looks.
And then he's going to glide his way into a second-place finish. That's what you're...
He might. Truth is...
Dude, I got to ask you guys I'm looking at your hoodies. How come I put mine in the wash one time?
I haven't washed this thing once. That's your if you're going to ask.
That's why I haven't washed this thing. I wear it just for the show.
Twice a year on the show, and then I tuck it away.
I will say
I'm going to get another one made then. Maybe.
Yeah, it's embarrassing that you're not a team player.
I know. Well, I washed it and I dried it and I pulled it out.
Yeah,
and Greg Norman's face was ripped off. It's gone.
It should fit you because I think you got it when you were.
Do you understand that back when I ordered those things, there was 2 different sizes. You guys both had a large. Mine was XXX. I had to tell Coco's brother, Noodles and Hayes large, and then he said, "What about you?" And I'm like, "I'm a XXX."
XXX. Well, go pull it out of the garbage and cover your car with it throughout the spring, and then you're good, man.
It's got a Volkswagen in the back that's covered up with it.
A little punch buggy in the back. Keep that thing sharp. Yeah, we got to get you another one, man. New ones next year. I'll look into it. We're not going to be able to get it for tomorrow.
Just use the same logo, yeah.
Yeah, well, this is the most money logo. I'm the same way as Noodles, though. I literally pack it away, and I'm like, I'll see you next Thursday of the Masters, and I'll be wearing this tomorrow. All right, Bobby Weeks coming up. OverDrive continues. TSN 1050 and on TSN Plus. OverDrive continues, powered by FanDuel, bringing you everything from the opening line to the final score. Bob Weeks in just a moment, live from Augusta National. Justin Rose, 6 under through 14. Corey Connors, 4 under this afternoon or earlier this morning. Scheffler's in the clubhouse at 4 under. McIlroy still out there on the course, 3 under through 10. 2 gloves, Aaron Rai, 2 under. I love his action out there doing his thing.
No, you don't, dude.
I love his action.
I can't. His whole kit, it needs to stop. His gear, his gloves, his pace of play, his hat. I don't even like his hat.
I know it's not good. It's not good,
dude. There was some chopping lumber out there. There was some skank ball shots where if you were a playing competitor, you would have been like, "Are you serious with
big
that?"
Time, man.
Dude, Justin Thomas folded the sod over a wedge and left it 20 yards short from 100 yards.
That was after he sculled one through the green on 3, I think.
Dude, Homa's old caddy must have been like, is this guy high? Like,
I know.
What are you doing?
I know. He was all over the map, man. He was in the trees. He was everywhere. Like, he actually had to grind out, and he ended up 1 over, which I think is a minor miracle for him, that he actually got into the house at 1 over. And, yeah, there was some weird like on 4, but Tia was like 70 yards short of the green. I don't know if you saw that, but he literally chunked an 8-iron. Like, it wasn't even close. Whoa. Yeah, it was some weird stuff.
He got a yardage for his second shot on a par 3.
That's right. They had to actually walk it out.
Yes.
And get a yardage, because that is one in practice rounds. No player on earth would ever be over there thinking this is a shot I need.
No.
But anyway, the first round continues on TSN, and let's head down to Augusta now. Here's our main man, our TSN Golf reporter, Bob Weeks. There he is. Weeksy, how are we feeling day 1 of the Masters?
Pretty good. Kind of like you guys, I'm kind of surprised at some of the shot making and how hard the golf course played for the first day. And there's like no wind here at all. It's pretty calm. So I'm kind of surprised. The back 9, I think the only hole that was playing over par was the 15th. But again, some good scores at the top of the leaderboard, some good performances, notably Corey Connors, Scottie Scheffler. I mean, Rory's looks like he's finally going to break 70 on the first round, so we'll see how it goes, but it's been a pretty good day.
Yeah, you mentioned Connors. He gets in at 4 under, and he was red hot down the stretch, and his stats with the putter really, really significant, Bob, and that's always the story with him. Tee to green, the guy's world class. He's one of the 5 or 10 best ball strikers on earth. It's the putter, and specifically at this place, I mean, you couldn't ask for a better day 1 out of Corey Connors.
I think 55 feet of birdie putts. So none of the birdie putts were super easy. He had a 24-footer on 17. He had a 13-footer on 18. He switched putters about just before the Arnold Palmer. His father actually convinced him to try a mallet-style putter. And the guys at Ping, he had a little habit of putting up on the ball. So the Ping guys built this putter specifically with him where it's a center shafted, but they moved the shaft about, I don't know, maybe a half an inch, quarter of an inch behind the face. It sounds very technical for if you're not really a golfer, but now when he's hitting the ball perfectly in the equator. He says all the balls are starting right on the line that he's seeing. And when you start filling up the bucket like that, boy, you gain confidence in a hurry.
What does he got to do, though, Bobby? I mean, is it like the putter, and we all talk about his ball striking. Like, is he capable of just hanging in there? Like, what does he have to do to just hang in there? Is that just confidence? Does he just got to man up? What does he got to do?
Yeah, I think he might have to. I mean, he actually said after the round that he didn't actually hit the ball all that well today. So he's obviously got to fix that up. And I think you just got to trust your game. It's getting to Sunday on the back 9 and getting yourself maybe to play, to win the tournament, which becomes maybe a little bit different than you're playing on Thursday. So I think he just keeps doing what he's doing. He's got a lot of confidence. We were talking to Mike Weir a couple of weeks ago, and he said, these guys are ready. These guys know how to win. They're capable of doing it, but the Masters is a big ask. A major championship is a big ask, obviously. So if you're going down the stretch with Scottie Scheffler and Rory McIlroy, who've done it before, it becomes a little bit more. But I think Corey's got the ability and the confidence in his game right now to do that. He's playing the best golf he's played of his career, without a doubt.
Well, you mentioned the two big dogs, Scheffler in at 4 under, McIlroy still on the course 3 under through 11. They're both T5. Which one, Scheffler or Rory, which, they both finish in that position, which one rings out the loudest? Which one would send terror throughout the rest of the players the most?
Oh, I don't know. I think they're both pretty nasty out there. I mean, Scottie's done it before, right? He's won twice here before. Rory is probably playing the best of any golfer on the planet at the moment coming into this. I would probably say Rory would give me the most jitters, especially if he's playing the way he's been playing on the front nine here. I mean, it just sort of looks mistake-free, making it look a little bit easy. And if he can get under par, I mean, he has a bad history of first rounds, right? Just terrible first rounds. And if he can get himself in position up near the top, boy, it makes it a lot easier. You don't have to play catch-up for the next 3 rounds, which is tough on this golf course.
So, Weeksy, you're talking about guys playing very well, but now we noticed there's a guy who put up a 90, Nick Dunlap. I mean, what do you do there? I mean, is it just you try and regroup, or is he out with an injury?
A lot, man.
That's a huge number. What are we doing here?
I mean, I'd be going straight to Hooters. I just would not be. I don't know what to do, really. 90 is a big number out here. The only time I've ever seen anyone shoot higher than 90 was Billy Casper when he was about, 75, and he was trying to get it around here. And he ended up not putting his card in, but I think he was over 100.
Lacey, I was there, man. I was there on 16. He made a 16 on a par 3. My uncle was sitting beside me, and it was the first time I brought him to the Masters, and the first thing he experienced was Billy Casper putting 6 in the water, and he started yelling at him. He's like, "Get off!" He goes, "Just drop one near the green." It was insane.
They have this term in golf. It's called ROB. And you see that sometimes on leaderboards. It means run out of balls. And so you're wondering, 6 in the water. Man, I don't care. I don't know how many I carry. Gary Millet's standing right beside me. I don't know. How many do you carry in the bag?
I'd have broken 80 today, boy. Or 90, that's for sure.
Yes, 100% you would have. I think a lot of guys would have. That, like, Nick Dunlap's a young player. He plays with confidence. That's just wild. Like, I can't imagine stepping up to a ball 90 times for a professional. Do you think he'll play tomorrow, Bob?
Hey, never mind today the 90. What about the confidence going to the first tee tomorrow?
Well, exactly. You get called up like, hey, here's Nick Dunlap, who's 18
everyone's
over par.
Snickering in the crowd.
It's amazing how many guys develop bad backs, after big scores like that, and they kind of get out of town early.
Big time. With Bob Weeks from Augusta National, day 1 of the Masters, where, again, Justin Rose still on the course, 6 under through 14. Corey Connors shot 4 under today. Scheffler 4 under. McIlroy 3 under. He's still on the back 9. What about the other Canadians? What are we looking at here when it comes to Pendrith and Nick Taylor and Mike Weir, for that matter?
Pendrith, I think, got the experience of playing on the course in tournament conditions for the first time. He didn't play very well by his own admission. Mike Weir, was grinding it out there. I think he was trying his best. 3 over is not bad. He told me before that this golf course is a pretty long way. It's a big boy's ballpark. He doesn't hit it far enough to really. I mean, he's hitting, on 11. He was playing it like a par 5. He hit driver hybrid, and he still wasn't close to the green. He still had about 50 yards in. So. And as for Nick Taylor, this is just another struggle in the major championships. He's missed the cut in his last 9 majors. I'd love to see him put something together of what in the finish out at least at even par or something around here. But I don't know what it is. He should be a lot better than this. He's a really, really good golfer. Just doesn't have it when it comes to majors lately.
Yeah, he's 2 over and still out there. So yeah, it's a grind, man. Like no outside of Rose, no one's going crazy low. I mean, can you take anything from this and give us a projection on what you think a championship score is going to be on Sunday night?
It's going to depend on what they do to this golf course. And traditionally, it's not. It's fairly tough. And then on Sunday, they let them loose on the back 9. But there's usually a few more scoring holes out here, and I just didn't see that today. There's really only a handful of holes that looked like they were kind of gettable easy. But as far as a score, boy, I'd hate to predict. Got to wait to see what happens if there's any wind. It's like ripe for scoring today. I would have thought there'd be a lot more rounds that were under par. Maybe that's why they set it up as they did, a little bit more difficult. But, you usually get around 10 or 12 under par is a pretty good number come Sunday. So we'll see what they do with that.
Yeah, there's some gnarly pins out there today, man. You can see them. They're just, some of them are tucked. Some of them are up on levels where you just can't get to it. But that's why it's Augusta National, and that's why it's the Masters. What's the tally at? I know. What is it you mash down there every single time you're there, Bob? Is it the egg sandwich?
Yeah.
Where are we at with that?
Yeah, egg salad sandwiches. I'm up to 8 now, but the weekend starts to come. we can't go very hard until now for basically from 8 o'clock in the morning till about 6 at night. So the boys run over and fill us up from the media center, which is only about 200 yards away from us, and got to just go for those egg salads, man. It's just, I don't know.
That chair of yours at the desk, Bobby, they just throw that thing in the dumpster after the event.
Yeah. They can get a little
yeah. Get Duthie and Dillette to sign it and then just light it on fire and see you later. All right, Bob, get back after it. Make it 9 on us. We appreciate you doing this, as always.
Okay, guys, take care.
There he is, Bob Weeks. 8
Dude.
egg salads.
That is going to bung you up.
No, you cannot wear white Calvin Kleins if you are having 8 egg salad sandwiches.
Yeah,
you need sweat shorts as underwear.
That is
Brown.
Russian roulette, dude.
Yeah, that is.
That is roulette you're playing. Yeah, it's a wild scene out there, and I guess this amateur who, again, was playing with Scheffler and Thomas, you could tell he was so nervous, and it's a really cool tradition. Ballester was his name. He's a Spanish kid, Jose Luis Ballester. A part of me thinks they're actually jamming the amateur up because he has to play with the past champ, which is
I think
Scheffler.
that's the stupidest thing ever.
Yeah, like it's hard enough for these kids already to show up and play a major and at Augusta. Now you got to play with Scheffler and Thomas. Yeah, like that's he was so nervous, and I guess he went to the washroom on 13.
He took a piss in Ray's Creek, dude.
Is that illegal? I mean,
No.
It's generally frowned upon.
His comment afterwards was, I forgot there was a urinal to the left of the tee box. Did he just did he go out into the woods at least?
Yeah,
or
so I guess he was kind of into the woods, into the creek, but there were patrons that saw him and were giving him, clapping him off as he finished and walked back across, which means, there's people that, everyone was like, look at what this guy's doing.
there's
you know
camera
what he's doing.
phones.
No, you can't have phones on the course, though.
Oh, that's right.
That's the
that's
thing.
Right,
so there's probably
yeah.
no video, which is big, because if he did that, if there were phones, there'd be a million of them. It'd be viral by now. This guy.
Maybe that's why he did it too. Like going, okay, there's no phones.
No one's going to know any better. Exactly.
take a
But
leap.
that's another thing. If you're Scottie Scheffler, you're watching this guy being like, what are you doing, man?
you're pissing in Ray's Creek at Augusta National.
What is happening right now? Anyway, it's a wild scene. It's a wild scene down there. All right, Kevin Weeks still to come. Curtis Joseph on the show today. Cujo coming up later this afternoon. We'll get to our bets, maybe a little mini Jerry carryover. I had a bunch from yesterday we didn't get to. Overdrive continues. TSN 1050 and on the TSN app. All right, it's your final week to find Al's brother for a chance to win Leaf tickets. Al's brother's been hiding at a new location each day this week, and you'll need to name all 4 locations tomorrow in order to win the final Leaf tickets of the year. Here's the 4th and final clue of the week from Al's brother.
Hey, OD fans, it's Thursday, and I'm back with another new location for you guys to find out where I'm hiding at this week to get yourself a pair of Leafs and Red Wings tickets for the season finale on April 17th. The location that I am in today saw hundreds of thousands of fans rally to celebrate a historic moment in Raptors history. Perhaps we can all reconvene a couple months from now if the Leafs can break the curse.
Okay. When you hear the cue to call tomorrow. The first caller through who can name all 4 locations from this week will win a pair of tickets again to see Leafs Red Wings April 17th. Finals, brother, brought to you by McAlpine Ford in Aurora, our family, the Ford family, and you. What is your guess about that game, last game of the season? Do you think it is meaningful for the Leafs still, or do you think they will be mailing that one in?
Last game versus Detroit?
Yeah. You think points are still needed? I
got a feeling it might be irrelevant to some degree.
Yeah, I think it's...
At least I'm hoping. Maybe that's hoping that made me say that. I hope it's meaningless.
Right.
Because them in a must-win versus Detroit that stinks and doesn't care is a dangerous recipe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think it'll be irrelevant, but I don't know. I mean, I look at Tampa's schedule. They both play the same teams, right? They play Detroit, Buffalo. Like, Buffalo's beating teams. So
yeah,
that's
are.
the crazy thing. So I
Buffalo
don't know,
is actually pissing people off now. They're like, people are on Twitter and they're like, why are we winning now? Why?
Yeah.
Although, what's the sense of them losing and getting another young defenseman? Like,
well,
why
in the
not,
end,
though? You might as well at this point.
In the end, you got to be looking for the best. If you're not making the playoffs, you should be looking for the best option to draft as high as you can. But in the end, I think that last game, Hayes, I think it'll be irrelevant.
I hope so, because you're right. The Leafs have Montreal, Carolina, Buffalo, Detroit. Tampa's got Detroit, Buffalo, Florida, the Rangers. So, yeah, I mean, you take care of business this weekend. If you're the Leafs, if you can get 4 points this weekend, it's over, effectively. If you get 2, you're in a good spot going into the final 2 games. But Buffalo's playing well, and the Leafs have never played Buffalo well. I wouldn't be shocked at all if they're a point up on Tampa last night. You got to win. You know, Tampa's at the Garden playing the Rangers. They'll be done. We'll see.
Let's deal with that next week.
Yeah, I get it. I know. I don't want to put that their big win last night, 3-point buffer. They hit 100 points again. They've done that many, many years in a row now. All right, hour 2 coming up on the Leaf win last night. Kevin Weeks will join us. Cujo still to come. Best bets coming up. We're tracking the Masters, tracking the Blue Jays. OverDrive continues. TSN 1050 and on TSN Plus.